Oh, I thought we had a bit of an issue there. A big sign come up on my screen saying this can't go live because of an error, but I fixed the error by pressing OK on the option. So look at me, I'm an IQ.
Fingers
This is
crossed.
Gav. This is the Talkin Kop. It's Monday night where we bring three topics to the table to chat about them. Phil is not here. I'm standing in for Phil. I am Phil for the evening. I'm not as mad as him, but I am Phil for the evening. Phil has had multiple things happen to him. He fell off a ladder and hurt himself, and then woke up with the vomiting bug. So Jesus Christ, I said either get well soon or just someone put you down, Phil. That was my approach to. So get well soon if you're watching. Sorry for being late. That's my fault as well. I have got Trev. I have got Pete. We have got three topics. We have an hour to cover them. Pete, how are you?
Cannot complain. If I
Very
didn't
good.
own it, listen, you know yourself.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know, yeah. Especially when you live with women. Um, you complain to them, you just go, whatever. Trev, how are you?
I'm very good, Gav, yeah. And
Yeah,
you?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm great. I'm really enjoying the 10 a.m. shows where we talk for as little amount of time as possible about football, and then we just talk random stuff for 20 to 25 minutes. I'm loving that in the morning. It literally wakes me up in the morning. I love it. I jump out of bed going, come on, we get the random stuff into us. But that's the way it goes. Let me see. Where to start? I tell you what, let's start on a positive. P, you have a positive thing to bring to the table this week because last week you were another disgrace, but this week I'm going to let you go. Redeem yourself, P. Redeem yourself with this week's topic that you would like to bring for us.
You'd have to, wouldn't you? I
Yeah,
mean, listen,
I'm only messing.
in
You weren't a disgrace. It was a brilliant show.
no, but they were winding me up, I have to say. But
Yeah,
no, I have to say, in 2023, we have a lot of things to complain about. All of us, not just Liverpool, but modern football being a disgrace, and footballers, um, footballers in general, and their attitudes. You know, fellas walking through the door 5 minutes later, they think they're superstars, and they think because they've played a couple of games that they can, they can call the shots. And then along comes a 16-year-old, Harvey Elliott, who basically, it seems to me, just embodies the fans. He looks to me like a young fella that just jumped out of the stands and was lucky enough to get a game and has a bit of talent. I've never. It's a long time since I've seen an attitude like that, and I like Elliot because I was living in that part of London, just outside Surrey, where he was born, Chertsey. I was living not far from there, playing ball with a lot of lads from there, my spare time. And it's a nice area. It's a kind of a Chelsea area, to be honest. And looking at a story like he getting knocked back as a young fella, from Chelsea, because he was too small. Then setting the world on fire at Fulham, and getting his move to us. And by all accounts, him and his father, big Liverpool fans. But this is a young fella, in my opinion, who could probably go into any academy, or dare I say any squad in the world, and change any game. But he seems just happy to be part of things at Liverpool Football Club. And every time he comes into it, he hasn't had the best of luck with injuries, but every time he comes into it and he's sharp, he just looks like he's ready. But the attitude, you never hear. Do you know what I love about him, Gav and Trev? You never hear any interviews, and he never talks about what he's going to do, or who he's going to be, or what's next, what worlds he's going to conquer. He just looks to me like he's just happy, you know, to be part of things at Liverpool Football Club. I just think it's such a throwback to the way things were and to the way things should be. You compare and contrast this young fella to the likes of, I don't know, Nicholas and Elka in the past, surrounded by a posse of people. I know that's your cultural thing, but there's plenty of English young fellas that have been surrounded by that kind of nonsense as well. And it's just lovely to see somebody with the abundance of talent that he has, having had the choice of clubs that he did, just come in and put his head down. But yet you see what he's capable of, which is, to be honest with you, frightening. The only thing you'd worry about, will that attitude go against him? The fact that he's not a prima donna, and you'd like him to stand up more for himself. But for me, he's just, I always have a smile on my face whenever I see him. As well as him being supremely talented, he just seems like a good young fella. He's a credit to the club, and he always makes a difference when he plays.
Um, I have to cut across here because Chris Brackett's asked, I need the chat's help. Any remedies for a bad back? Mine is killing me. Don't know if he's making that up. But he seems to be unwell as well. They're all bleeding falling by the wayside again, going into Christmas.
Put paper
Um,
around.
what?
tough paper
I
around
don't
the
know what's
Mercs.
going on. There's people all over the place. Trev, we spoke about Harvey Elliott a bit on the show last night, obviously because he'd scored the goal, the winning goal. And there's a couple of really good points were brought up. But where are you on him? Because one of the points brought up last night was what we're doing with Harvey Elliott now is probably what we should have done with him 18 months ago. I.e., he's in the squad, he's coming in, he's impacting games, but we're not throwing the weight of the club on his shoulders by starting him every week at midfield. And Pete makes good points there about him coming in. He doesn't shout and scream about himself. And I think the good thing is he's at Liverpool. Because if he was at a lesser club, he'd probably become a big fish in a very small pond very quickly. Whereas at Liverpool, he's looking around going, these are brilliant, all of them, like, you know what I mean? But Trev, where are you on Harvey Elliott? Because he has got some criticism. Is he a midfielder? Is he an attacker? Has he enough pace? Is he big enough? Boom, 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 boom. He's starting to answer a lot of questions, Kev. Or Trev, sorry.
Yeah, I'd be like yourself. I think when he came in, we all had them questions about pace, about physicality, about size. All them things have been answered. I don't know whether they seem to be answered in the last couple of weeks for me. I know it's been a long-term project, but I watched the game on Saturday with my young fella who's 12 years of age and he plays midfield. And we're very lucky in our club. We have a UEFA licensed coach that coaches him. So I said to him, as we all know, the first part of the game, 70 odd minutes, forget about it. But he watched the whole game. And I said, when I seen Harvey Elliott, I just had a feeling he'd do something. I said, right, watch him and tell me what he's doing. And everything my young fella is doing in training, scanning, opening his body, breaking the lines, all these little things that are so simple to do. I mean, you look at the likes of Xavi and Iniesta, all these similar stature as well. Not physical, not the quickest, but every one of them have it up here, and they have a couple of steps ahead of everybody. And I think he's just settling in so well that it's actually frightening. I don't think we've even seen I'd say he's the ceiling's way to go yet, and it's going to be amazing to see how he goes. But I think we have to keep doing what he's doing. I think Klopp's playing a blinder with him, a bit like as we all say about Foden as well. But he's dipping him in and out. He's bringing in Jones in and out with him as well. You have Gravenberch come in with as well, with physical, if you want to mix it up. But my God, does he make a difference when he comes onto that pitch? He's amazing. Really is.
John reckons he's best right now coming off the bench against tired legs. And that's a good point. And I think, I think we're able to do this progression thing with him now where many people would look and go, because I genuinely think before he gets that injury at Leeds, right, and Liverpool are strong in midfield, you would call them strong at that time, but I don't think Henderson's getting back in that team, because Henderson's on the bench a couple of times when Elliott starts, and Elliott's playing really, really well at the start of that season. It's a horrendous injury he gets, but I think Klopp's, you see, last season he played a fair bit, and people were like, "Oh, what's this fella bring? What's this fella bring?" Listen, the likes of Elliott, right, and Trent is the reason. I think it's the reason we went inverted with Trent was because the midfield had no legs. I had no mobility. And on top of that, it wasn't the most creative midfield. Anyway, you can play players that aren't the most mobile in the world, but they're exceptionally creative, so you can work around them. You've mentioned Xavi there. Iniesta is a bit more mobile, but Xavi didn't seem to tear around the place, but Pirlo was the perfect example, I suppose. And I think Harvey he got the bad end of the stick last season. A couple did, based on players not performing and dropping in levels and waning off and, things like that. Whereas I think Klopp has looked at it this year and went, hold on, I don't think I can risk Harvey Elliott in this midfield with what we have. And not because he's not good enough. I think they're not risking him because you're then putting a 20-year-old in with possibly two other players that are only playing their 10th, 15th game for Liverpool yesterday. They're only playing their 15. They haven't played 20 games for Liverpool yet. And 20-year-old is a risk anyway, right? But when you put these in beside, Szoboszlai, a Gravenberch, a McAllister, no, they're all fairly experienced, or an Endo, they're still brand new to Liverpool. And then what happens is you're putting the focus back onto Harvey Elliott, say, well, you know exactly how we play, so we're all going to look to you while these settle in. And I think Klopp has kind of went, no, tell you what we'll do. We'll put them in and we'll let them learn. Okay, let them all learn together. Let them work as a unit. And then what we'll do is, when they're working hard, because no one's accusing Liverpool of not working hard, Then we bring Elliott in, and he knows. And you're spot on what you say, because I'm convinced of it, and he's maybe even quoted in it. He watches the game intently when he's on the bench. He's watching where every bit of space is, who's flagging a little bit and on the other team. Where are you leaving opportunities for him to get in and influence the game? And like Pete, he's in no rush. He's 20 years of age. Like, he could genuinely go on and play with Liverpool the next 15 years. He's a massive Liverpool fan. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm not getting it here and I'm out of here. I fuck that club. I can go to, I support Chelsea, I'm going there. It's not like that. He's in no hurry, Pete. And you could genuinely see him in a year's time going, he can start now. Because the other lads are well used to what they're doing. You have no problem putting Harvey Elliott in. And he's only 20. He hasn't hit anywhere near his prime physically. And that's strength, speed, whatever it might be. Like, there's no rush, is there?
No, for me, I totally agree with you. And it's unusual. 2023. Nobody thinks that they have anything to learn. You know how things are. You know, it's rare that you'll see anybody going on and saying things like, "I'm watching Mo Salah. I'm watching this fella. I'm watching." He seems to watch, as Trev says, he's watching everybody, but he's admitting it and he's talking about it. I just think he's a complete breath of fresh air. The young fella has nothing to say other than talk about other people. He doesn't seem to have an agent. He only seems to have his father. And it's just lovely to, you'd love a squad full of them. You'd love we're all tired of listening to the stories of this fella coming in, making this demand, that demand. And they haven't half his talent. I mean, I don't care what people say. People talk about physicality. Let me tell you something about physicality, in my view. And I said this before. Fellas like Javier Mascherano needed to be physical because they didn't have a brain. People say, whenever I'm
I
always
think that's
wearing,
a bit harsh. I don't think
yeah,
he had
well, in my opinion,
that creative side of his game.
in my opinion, if you end up underneath fellas, it's because your timing's wrong, your position is wrong, and you have to make those tackles because your position is not right. If you're like a Shabby, for example, wasn't physical at all, could barely run, but he just watched the game constantly. For me, Elliott, he's not unphysical, but it's a breath of fresh air. People were going on the other day about Ducouré and how great he is. Ducouré, you put Ducouré in a side that is expected to play football. You put Caicedo in a side that is expected to play football, and he struggles. Why? Because, I just think it's almost like the onus is on you now to create something, and you don't have that. So it's nice to see fellas like Harvey that can actually create something, having watched it. I've never been a fan of it. Oh, he's great in the tackle, therefore he's a great player. If a fella is in tackles all the time because his positioning is not right, and I just love. I mean, Gakpo's another example. Gakpo for me is not the most physical fella in the world either, but some of the positions he took up, some of his movement. He was probably the only player that I looked at in that dreadful 76 minutes and went, Jesus, that fella can play. The rest of us look like statues. But Elliott, keeping it positive, Elliott for me, sky's the limit with that kid. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, like Trev, we say the sky's the limit, but do we still have to show, be a little bit careful with him? Because it would be very easy to, if we're flying this season, right? And I'm not saying we don't have the confidence in him to put him in, but even if we're flying this season, we come into a big game, and it's a real pressure cooker game. We could be going for a title. Do we need to be careful with him in them sort of circumstances as well? Because as much as all these players are around him, and Salah seems to love him, and he loves Salah, and Salah's telling him, stop eating all the bread, don't eat the bread, fucking one slice of bread, relax, right? Things like that, right? We're on a more serious level, positions, where to look, where not to go, blah, 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 blah. We still need to be careful, because I think he's been brilliant off the bench. The tired legs thing, I just think he gets to the speed of the game very quickly. Do you know what I mean? We still have to be a little bit careful with him. And I have no problem with him doing this for the rest of the season, and he shouldn't either, I don't think.
Exactly that. If it's not broke, why try and fix it? It's working to a treat at the minute. We're getting the results, yes. But even if we weren't getting the results, if he was coming in and affecting games and you could see what he was trying to do, you let it happen. Like, you look at him in midfield, and I genuinely looked at him on Saturday and it was a cameo. But he was so good in the cameo of everything. As I said, I pointed him out to my young fella. So I kind of was watching him the whole time. You look at, and we had this conversation or you had that conversation with Trent, and like, we all know what Shawnee thinks of Trent and in midfield and trying to turn on the ball and play the six. You put Elliott into any position in that midfield, the way he's playing, and he just does it because he's that good. But I think your question is, do we have to be careful with him? Yeah, we do have to be careful with him. He's only a kid. But if it came down to Sunday and we were 0-0 or 1-0 and we had 10 minutes to go and we needed to change the game, he's no doubt in my mind that he'd be definitely the first off the bench. If not, I mean, you'd obviously look at a striker there and you think, right, I'll have to effectively. We had Jota, obviously, he's injured at the minute, or Gakpo. I'd be looking at the likes of him treading the balls through to Darwin or whoever it may be, or Mo. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, because Keith does feel like we were talking last night, and Keith was like, "Look, he feels like he's the first off the rank, for in any period of the game." And I think one thing, and look, I'm not telling tales here. Me and Shawnee have had loads of conversations going back to last year about Harvey Elliott, and Shawnee had his doubts, and he said, "Look, he's making me fucking eat me words, like, in extra portions here." But the one thing about it was, Shawnee felt, can he do the other side of the game? Our teams, targeting him when he plays, go down that side. Will Elliott be able to keep up with you? But the biggest thing to come out of this season for me, and don't get me wrong, the cameo, passing, moving, opening space, scoring, wherever it might be, right? He gets a one at Wolves as well, I think, earlier on in the season, doesn't he? But the biggest thing for me is his work rate and his understanding of what Liverpool are trying to do off the ball. That's been the biggest thing for me. Like, I've come away from loads of games where I haven't turned around with, jeez, that ball from Harvey Elliott was brilliant, that cross or that pass or that through ball. I've actually come away going, Jesus, he's covering some amount of ground. He's cutting off so many lanes. He's doing so much. And I think that's the biggest thing, the understanding. And I think what you'll find with him is, as this midfield progresses, i.e. McAllister, Gravenberch, Endo, Szoboszlai, Jones, there's a few more in there, like I always forget, right? As these progress and find their way, right, and you're comfortable with them in there, I think you'll actually see Harvey Elliott probably starting more games, because instead of risking a young fella and putting too much pressure on him and combining that with two lads that are new, you'll have two lads that are well up to the pace. Like, I think in 6 months' time, you could easily go, Harvey Elliott's playing, and you're picking McAllister, are you going with Szoboszlai or Gravenberch, are you going with Jones, or are you going with Bajcetic, or are you going with Thiago comes back, who are you going with? I think it could be one of those where you go, he's definitely playing. These know exactly what they're doing now. He's definitely playing, and I think I love him. P says, I've said it before, Harvey was a victim of circumstance last year. Injuries plus senior players being absolute dog shit meant he was overplayed. This year, he's being managed responsibly, and I think that's spot on. It's absolutely spot on. And you know what? I just hope he stays fit. I hope he stays healthy. I hope he keeps progressing with those 21s, because he's becoming massive for them 21s every game as it goes on. And as the season goes on, you're going to have suspensions, you're going to have injuries, and if he's fit, you'll play him. There's no way. There's no way Klopp won't play him from the start. I don't think he's looking at him going, he's not a starter. I just think right now, the way the chemistry of this squad is made up, he just suits to come in and inject something into the team, because he's injecting something that he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? Szoboszlai has been brilliant. He's fallen off a little bit because I think he's going through a bit of a learning process. He's in the next stage of that learning process. Endo was just get in, do the job and get out. Gravenberch, I think, physically is still getting used to what we do, and I think the break will do him great in the new year. So there's loads going on there. McAllister's picked it up over the last little while because I think he's learning all the time. So, but with Harvey Elliott, I just think, as he is, fine. But don't be surprised as the season rolls on, he does get more starts, and he starts influencing games for a longer period of time, rather than being on for 70 and going, he was all right for 10, and he comes on now for 25, and you're like, he was brilliant. I think he'll start influencing it for 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes. And then you go, here, come off, we're throwing on bleeding. Gravenberch to run at them now. Sort of way. So I think, good topic, Keith, or P. I've called you Keith, I've called him Kev, I don't know what the fuck.
Doesn't matter. I'm going to call me too early in the morning, says you.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, all we can say, best of luck to Harvey Elliott. Keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, he's in no rush. They have all the confidence in the world in him. And he can be a Liverpool player for the next 10 years plus. So there's no hurry to get where you're going to. Go on. I'll go next, because I want to leave the Trev's one to last, right? I'm going to go next. And right, this is kind of an annoyance more than anything else, right? So it mightn't take long to get through this one. But why are people ignoring the rules of football in order to like, push the narrative. Like, are we just gone to the stage now? Like, listen, we've people out there that just say stuff for the sake of saying it because they get reaction and they get this, right? We know that. Push that to the side for a minute. We know all this. It's the world we live in. It's the culture we live in. That's the way it is, right? Say this for clicks. Say this for this. Say this for that, right? Forget that. Why are we ignoring the rules of football? Why we're literally ignoring them now? So, you know what I mean? A fella gets sent off. Look, I think he was brilliant today, and I don't think that was a red. But he punched him in the head. Yeah, but my narrative is he's great. So I'm ignoring them punching him in the head bit. So
he never done that before, so let him away with it today.
A couple of things, right? A couple of things, and to bring it up, right? So first of all, and I know I'm going to spark Chris Brack off here, but your man on TNT the other day, right? Your man on TNT the other day started going on about the paying public wanting to see this, that, and the other. Like, he basically said the paying public don't want to see a fella get a second yellow card, right? Well, they kind of do, because the paying public know the rules of football, and if you do that, you're off, right? If IU does that in the first 15 minutes of the game, he gets a yellow card. He gets a yellow card. I've seen people saying he was halfway inside his own half. We had loads of men back. He wasn't gone by him. And then someone showed this fella a still shot and went, mate, there's 7 players. He's goal side of 70 or 60 players. And another one out of picture is your forward. That's 7. So there's only fucking 4 players he has between him and the goal. So he is on the break. He's literally in the circle of the halfway line. So he's not miles inside his own half. And this fella just couldn't get his head around this. So I was like, well, that's what you've ignored there, right? Then you have, and I seen it was from an Everton fan today, where he said, he put up 3 pictures. And he said 2 of these where players sent off for basically aggressive behaviour, right?
The hand in the Harry Kane.
So the Corey on Kane, it was Rodri on Gibbs White, I think, from Forest. And they both were sent off for that, right? And the third one is your man Jackson off Chelsea with his hand around, I think it's Patterson's throat.
His neck.
I think around his neck and the game. And I'm like, okay. But we just ignore that. We just ignore that. Look, Everton won. It's all right. No. The rules of the game are, if you're going on this, that's a fucking sending off, right? So we're ignoring that. Then we get on to Newcastle and Spurs, right? And your man Romero, who's only back from a 3-game ban, by the way,
he's a brain.
Decides now that he's just going to stand all over people when they're on the ground and then take a swipe at them as they try to get back up. That's all right. Sure, he was sent off already. It's all right. What's going on here? Then you go to Villa Park. Jesus gets a touch on a ball, right? And I think it's the midfielder. No, the midfielder. I think it was the midfielder. What's his name?
Swipes to the
defensive midfielder. He's really good. His name's completely gone in my head.
Diego Costa. Douglas Costa.
Who's brilliant, by the way. Douglas Costa kicks him in the back of the leg and then kind of goes, I didn't do anything. And people are like, no, there's nothing in it. He completely ignored the rules of the game. He's made contact. He's forced him. He's done that. Now, at the same time, if you go back to the Kwanzaa one for Liverpool against Palace, he kicks your man, right? Barely. He makes enough contact with him. Your man kicking the ball away from goal rather than towards the goal. But again, we're ignoring the rules. So the rule happens over here. And then you go, well, look at that one. It's the exact same as what's happened with Kwanzaa. No. So we want Villa to win. Like, whatever narrative is here, if Villa win, blah, blah, blah. We want Villa to win, so that's not a penalty. Do you get me? Then your man, go back to your man Fletch. Your man Fletch, a header by, again, the centre-half off Palace. I don't remember their names. He gets a header. It gets saved by Alisson. And he was like, oh, imagine if that went in. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, well, it was offside. But he just completely ignored the offside thing. He didn't say at any stage, actually, do you know what? That shouldn't even be a corner. He's offside. No, he was all just into the corner. All about the fucking corner. And what's going on. So that's where I am on it. Now, I don't want to get into people saying things for the sake of saying things. I'm saying the rules of football are either changing on a weekly basis or we're ignoring them in order because you have a point of view. And if you can back that point of view up with facts and, examples, fine. But people are going away from that. They're literally just going, I don't care about your example. They're completely, like, null and void what I'm saying. I'm just ignoring it. Pete, we're genuinely ignoring it.
Yep,
I'm
it's the
telling you.
narrative. Listen, the whole thing is driven. I told you, it's another reason why I can't be arsed watching it sometimes. I mean, give me there's a channel that shows the SBL somewhere online with no commentary. No, it's terrible football, but I preferred it. I preferred it because you don't have to listen to, I don't know, Gary Neville groan, and even Jamie Carragher groan, and you don't have to listen to it. It's this whole selective outrage. Managers coming on and saying and telling you what their position is, and then 2 weeks later saying something completely different. It's just, for me, it's boring. Give me the old days when somebody would turn around and say, "Listen, we got away with it. We got
But
away
you're
with
never
that."
going back to that, Pete.
Give me
Because I
that.
tell you
Give
why.
me. Then I don't. I'm like you, Gav. Can't listen to it. Can't listen to somebody turn around and saying, "Oh, that's a disgraceful red card." It's the whole plucky underdog syndrome. I watched Sheffield United the other night. Gav, I swear to God, there was three of them at one stage, literally lined up young McAllister and just kicked them. Three of them. And the commentary, yeah, that's what you have to do. When you're up against the big boys, you have to let them have it. Yeah, if that's Endo, for example, or Nunes, and he does something like that, it's like, oh, how dare he? Nunes has a lot to learn. These people don't even realise that they're being in any way biased. They don't realise, and it's laughable at this. I can't even listen. Like, McAllister's out now because he's been systematic. He was systematically kicked out of those games across those two games. He couldn't even stand at the end of the Sheffield United game, but that's okay because Sheffield United are plucky underdogs. Forget the rules. Forget kicking them, standing on them, doing whatever you can. Three of them, line them. Forget it because it's Liverpool. It's a big club. That's what you have to do.
I've given one example how Arsenal should have had a penalty, right? In the same game, Havertz flashes a header that hits Matty Cash, right? Point blank, arms down by his side, point blank, hits him. It then falls up and it hits Havertz, I think, twice on the arm as his ball's dropping. It's hitting his arm, it hits his arm again, and he puts it in the net. And people are like, "Oh, this is fuck." Like, I seen one fella basically going, "This is corruption. The PGMOL have decided it'll be Liverpool's title this year." And I was like, "Are you off your fucking mallet?" Like, honest to God, right? The rules of the game are, if it touches your hand as a forward in any way in the box that leads to a goal, it's not a goal. That's the fucking rule. Now,
Same thing with the Bournemouth. They should have scored a fourth goal at Old Trafford. The very same thing.
But this is what I'm saying. You cannot benefit, exactly, right? So if you go back to Liverpool get a goal disallowed in Toulouse, right? Because the ball comes up and spins off McAllister's arm. There's eight things at play and there's a goal and they go back to it. But Liverpool, in essence, benefited from it, right? So the whole idea is that Havertz goes up, heads it, right? It falls down, it hits his arm, it falls down, it hits his arm, and he puts it in the net. So the referee doesn't need any VAR. He goes, "Listen, hit your arm twice," and it's gone in the net. Now, if that hits his arm twice and goes out for a corner, and Arsenal score from the corner, there's nothing you can do about it because he hasn't benefited directly from what's happened. Whether it's it's not meant, it's not intentional, right? Once it hits your arm or hits your hand, and you score and you benefit from it, and you've literally got people saying corruption, because this is the thing now. Everything is fucking corruption, right? And it's not. It's actually, they're just inadequate. They're not able. And yeah, this is what I'm saying. So, Trev, like, my argument is, and Pete's just said it, something there. My argument, Trev, is you're never going to get back to the old days where people, like Kev said, content creators that just refuse to call out what's right in front of their face, right? Now, that's a mixture of tribalism, and it's a mixture of, hold on, if I call this out, everything dampens down and people will stop watching or stop listening to me or stop following me on Twitter or whatever. But if I say this, it'll blow up and, hey, that's fucking amazing.
Hot take.
Yeah, we're never going to get away with this, Trev, because you're even seeing now the people where you think, do you know what, he's really fucking good. But now they're all just being brainwashed into doing this. And the biggest two for me is Ali McCoist and Drury, that's gone to Sky. Drury is slowly but surely just turning in to a Sky puppet. It's never going to go back to the way it was, Trev, ever.
I was watching the Sheffield United game the other night, and I don't know what commentator was on. But anyway, Sheffield United were kind of breaking on the left side, Trent side, and it was a point where they had a 2v1 on Van Dijk. And Van Dijk done what he done a couple of years ago against, and he held his position, and he's like, right, you're right-footed, so I know you want to
Show
come
us
this
what you
way,
have.
so I'm gonna hold off here, game of chicken here, who's gonna win? Your man cut inside, and Van Dijk cleared it. Brilliant defended. What's the commentator say?
Effing a Koku it was.
It was him. Oh, that's shocking defending. That is. Virgil van Dijk never wants to cover the cross and help his teammates. That's shocking. He got away with it that time, and I'm like, that's you show a child that sort of defending, and you say you can do that, you'll go far. And here's if Effinakoko, who was, let's be honest, an average forward, telling
He's an
Virgil van
Olympic
Dijk,
sprinter, Efinokoku. He was very fast. That's it.
that's about it. Well, I tell you one thing, he doesn't know how to defend the ball, because it was magnificent defending. And them days now that are like, and he's not even the main commentator. Like, these are the co-coms, and like that, he's talking as if, I guarantee he puts down the headphones after that and the microphone, thinking, "I've done a brilliant job tonight," and it's shocking because people that don't understand football or are listening to it or watching it will probably go, "Jesus, yeah, you're right." Like, that's fine if you're going to be that fickle about it, but my God, it's gone. Everything has gone bad. You just mentioned Peter Drury. I used to love him when he was doing the
I love
American
Drury,
comment.
but
Yeah, when he was doing the American commentating, he was brilliant. Even that was only even last year.
Yeah,
As you
yeah.
say, he's turned into Martin Tyler 2.0 already. It's scary.
I think he is. Because I remember watching him against it was Arsenal against United. And Drury is very kind of, this is what's happening. He does what commentators meant to do. He tells you what's happening on the pitch. The co-com is there to give his opinion, right? The commentator is there to tell you what's happened. He's commentating on a game, right? He's not adjudicating. He's commentating. The co-commentator is there to say, he's an ex-footballer, and you go, that's really good, blah, 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 blah. But the thing with the one with Van Dijk, right? Everyone's in numerous WhatsApp groups or whatever it might be. And as soon as that happened, I must have had 4 or 5 groups lighting up going, Jesus Christ, what defending that is. Because if Virgil van Dijk sprints over to McAtee, I think was your man's name.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Any young fella.
Yeah. If he sprints across to him, your man just literally plays a simple ball across, and the other forward is I can't remember the fella that was playing up front. He's in.
Archer. Was it Archer?
Was it Archer at the time?
He's a flying machine.
Yeah, he's in,
Yeah.
right? But what Virgil does is Virgil goes, fuck, it's gone in behind. I don't know where my partner is here, right? I'll have to trust that he's going to get back here, right? Now, Virgil's the left centre-back, right? But it's obviously gone beyond the two boys, and he says, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just block the passing lane to this fella, and I'll just watch this fella. And as soon as he gets close enough, and it's all about backing your goalkeeper as well. Virgil's done this for years. Back your goalkeeper, but if he takes a heavy touch or a touch wide, I'm going to hit him. And as soon as your man McAtee takes that touch, he goes bang, and he hits him. And who's the fault? I think it falls to Trent. I think it actually falls to the Liverpool player getting back. It's brilliant defending.
Unbelievable.
But instead of saying it's brilliant defending and looking at it, this fella goes, wide open, jammy, and he knows. They all know now. They all go into this with a narrative in their head of what they're going to push this evening. And they'll have little pressure points where they'll know, bingo, they play bingo. And that's what they do. When they play bingo, they know. Effinakoko knows he's going around the world about Virgil van Dijk. Gary Neville does it all the time. Gary Neville shows up at a game and you know his narrative from the first time he opens his fucking mouth to the last one. You know what I mean? So I honestly think that people are just ignoring rules now. Like, honestly, and this is the God honest truth, if I come on here and me and you, the three of us are on here, and one of you said to me, reverse the whole situation. So say for argument's sake, we lose 2-1 on Saturday, right? And Endo gets done for blocking a free kick, which you're going to get a yellow for, and pulling the fella back on the halfway line. And one of you turns around and goes, look, come on, he's on a yellow. It's not really a second. If it wasn't me, it'd be someone else going, will you ever fucking give over? It's a yellow card. So I don't know. Are we too naive to fucking sit here and say that? I don't know what it is. It's just, we're just ignoring rules for the sake of it now.
Well, you hit the nail on the head earlier on when you said that the days of just commentating on the game are over. channels are now looking to. I mean, news channels in general are trying to set the narrative. You only have to look at Fox News in the United States. They're not trying to comment. I mean, there was a debate between a guy called Gavin Newsom, who's the governor of California, and Ron DeSantis, who's an idiot from Florida, the governor of Florida, presidential candidate. And
Are
the
you
media.
bringing Trump into this?
No. I'm not going to talk
All
about
right.
Trump at all. The mediator is a guy from Fox News, a guy called Sean Hannity. Now, despite having an Irish name, he's a complete muppet. Now, his job as mediator was to sit between the two boys and be completely even-handed. But because he's a Republican, as most Fox News contributors are, he couldn't help but jump onto the Republican side and was setting an agenda and trying to prep up Ron DeSantis, who's a weirdo. My point is, news channels aren't news channels anymore. Sky Sports is not a news channel anymore. It is an agenda-setting exercise. That's what it is. The whole thing is about setting agenda. And your exemplar is Peter Drury, who is one of the last of the greats, and then got his brief from Sky, and then all of a sudden it's like, here's your brief for this week. Here's your brief.
Sorry, I was gonna say to you. I noticed that again, Arsenal against United. Peter Drury was getting all involved in the VAR and what's going to happen, and then he starts saying, "Now remember, we only hear what he says directly to the referee. We don't hear what's." And I was kind of going, "What are you telling us that for?" Because you never said that before Liverpool and Spurs, or but I think it was off the back of Liverpool and Spurs that happened, and you were kind of going, why are you saying this now? Do you know what I mean? And when he said that, I said to myself, forget it. You know what I mean? You get a few nuggets out of him now, but he's gone. He probably can't be helped. But look, it was just something that I wanted to talk about, and I'm sorry for bringing it up because I got very upset.
You did right. You did.
I'm only messing with you.
Brilliant.
Last one, Trev, throw it at us.
Jesus. Right. Well, so looking ahead to January, right? So you look at all the squads, right? Obviously, we'll focus on Liverpool, but you look at all across what's going on, Newcastle and all these teams, and West Ham. You could even say that are going thin with their squads and squad depth and all that, right? So we're looking at Liverpool. We're looking at the midfield. It's gelling nicely. It's coming along well. We have forwards that they're not hitting form. However, we're getting the results. So that'll and look, they're world class. So it'll come good. What do we do? Do we look at, or what are we going to do? Anything? Obviously, there was talk of what's his name, Andre from Fluminense. I don't know whether that seems to have gone dead in the water or quiet. Anyway, obviously with the whole Joe Matip thing, I think it's certainly something that we may look at. I don't know. You look at Nat Phillips up in Celtic. It looks like he may be coming back in January. But as somebody said to me, if Nat Phillips can't get into the Celtic team to play in the Scottish League, should he be coming back at all? And it's not like he hasn't had his chance. And look, I'm not digging out Nat Phillips by any means. We all remember how important he was to Liverpool only a couple of years ago. But in saying that, we're trying to push on. We are trying to get to the next level again, and we're not far off it. So what do we do? What positions do we look at?
P, do we do anything? And if we do, what do we do? There's a lot of deals in there.
Do.
I just think, I remember when we threw, they went out. Who was the Turkish kid they brought in? Never ended up playing a game. A young fella, another young fella.
And Nassar.
And the other young fella that we got in ended up at Rangers. I think he's at Rangers now. It doesn't work unless you've really kind of, it's part of the plan. I think you've just got to trust what's there. And if you had have asked me this before, listen, I prefer Bajicic to come back in and maybe give him a run at centre back, because he is a natural centre back as well as being a brilliant defensive midfielder. I'd rather go with what's there than be panicking. If you had have asked me this 2 years ago, of course we were on our knees, but we're not on our knees. I think we've got to trust what's there. There's a reason why that Kwanzaa has been given game. He was unlucky with the penalty, but I think he has the potential to be. I don't agree with. I've seen us do it. We're not the sort. For example, we're not the sort of club who can go out and loan a player. It's just not in us. Other clubs can do it. We don't seem to be able to go out and loan a player. It just doesn't work. You're either Liverpool or you're not. To be honest, I'd rather go unless something drastic happens.
Yeah, but you're also available for loan for a reason as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because you're no use to anybody else. So for me now, I'd rather go what we have. I mean, the lads, you got to trust. At some stage, you got to trust what's coming through, and you got to trust what you have. Matt Phillips is at Celtic for a reason. That I like him. That's his
Scored an
level.
own goal yesterday. They got beat.
Yeah, well, that can happen. That can happen.
I'm
Kilmarnock.
just I'm just worried about. It's not. I know what we have the quality there,
What
but
would
you're
you
looking
do?
at
You've asked the question, but what would you do?
yeah. Well, my only fear is Kanate has made of biscuits at times, and he's not being not that he's not being informed. I'm a huge fan of Kanate. Kwanzaa, amazing. I'm not even. We're not hitting the panic button. Are we looking at like? I don't think Joe Gomez is a centre back, and he's just on the tour, and he's just I don't know. He seems to have found his position. He's done very well on Saturday. I don't know. I wouldn't by Chetic. I certainly wouldn't see that coming into the centre half. I know we're talking about. We said it earlier on. Physicality doesn't really matter. I know we can snap into a tackle, but he's been out for so long. He hasn't played first team football at the back, so I don't know about that. I don't know. Is the answer, Gav? It's stick or twist, and I can see sense on both sides. I can certainly see why Pete is saying, "Hold off. We have the players there." That absolutely makes sense. But I suppose it is coming to the silly season, and people will start, putting out names. We don't normally buy into that. Happy not to do it again this year, but if we are to do it, it's probably the only position that we may do something. But again, I would not be surprised if we do nothing at all and hold off until the summer.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of interesting aspects to this, right? Now, Kev O'Sullivan has said if they don't register Matip for the second half of the season, it frees up a spot to go and do something if we wanted to. A couple of the lads there have mentioned Reece Williams at Aberdeen, saying he hasn't got a kick and at Aberdeen and could be back in January. And the same with Nat Phillips, who looks like he's having a disastrous time at Celtic. To be fair, I've seen him 2 or 3 times and I just went, no, it's just not happening. And maybe he needs 6 months to get back into a rhythm. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they persevere. Maybe the deal is there for the year. I don't know. People that read more about this will be able to tell me. But if you look at Andre in the midfield, right, he was heavily linked in the summer. And then it went away. And the reason behind it going away apparently is that Fluminense were in the Libertadores, didn't want to lose him, but they would be open in January. And Liverpool apparently had gone, okay, fine. We're not going to get him. We know the money's not an issue. We could go and get him. I only see that happening if something happens with Thiago and they move him on and they're able to bring him in, because I can't see Andre coming in January anyway and being a massive force for Liverpool in the second half of this season. He's played an awful lot of football. I think he continues to do so, and he will in the World Club Cup as well now in December. And I think if we were to bring him in and Thiago was go off to Saudi or whatever, you go, fine, you had your eye on him. The player that you were probably looking to replace has gone, and we bring him in. But if Thiago doesn't go anywhere, I can't see us doing an Andre. And maybe, just maybe, it happens in the summer, right? Maybe he stays where he is and it happens in the summer. Centre back wise though, I would lean towards doing something. And the only reason I'm saying it is because, look, Gerald Kwanzaa is at the club and is 5th choice centre back, right? When all things said and done, he's 5th choice centre back, right? Probably 4th, right? Because Gomez seems to be doing left back and right back bits. And I'm with you on the centre half Joe Gomez thing. I think he's lost that yard, and I think not even that. I think he's lost the confidence in himself to play there, right? And he's doing a few bits at right back, and basically he's the only person there really to cover for Trent. You can go on about Szoboszlai doing it or Endo doing it, but they're not going to. It's going to be Joe Gomez covering at right back, right? And Kwanzaa is there, and I love him. I don't think the penalty aside the other day, that can happen to anyone. But I think overall he's been excellent for Liverpool. But he's still so young. And if Liverpool have gone into the season and went, we're happy with our 4 centre halves and Gerald Kwanzaa, we're happy with that and we're fine. That's absolutely fine. That's your decision. But one of them have gone now. And now you're 3 centre halves and Gerald Kwanzaa. And now with those 3, you have Van Dijk, who's been, I think, excellent. I think you've Gomez, I think is very hit and miss, a centre back. And I think you've Kanate, who at times is excellent, sometimes way too rash, and sometimes picks up injuries that see him out for 3 and 4 weeks. And if you put all that into the pot, You end up with Jarell Quansah playing an awful lot of games for Liverpool between now and the end of the season. Would he let you down? No. Is it too much to ask from? Maybe. So all I'm thinking is, and I'm not going to kick and scream in January for centre half because everyone fucking will, or loads of people will, and we do transfer shows in January, and we don't put stuff up going, the latest on fucking thing, because we don't know anything, right? Nobody does. But what we do is, if a name comes up, we'll take it and we go, what do you think? Yeah, interesting. Don't think it'll happen, but I'd love to see it happen, blah, blah, blah. That's the way we go with it. I think, and Kev makes a point earlier where he said they were probably going to look at a centre half in the summer anyway. When you look at Matip, the contract hasn't been signed. He's out of the deal. Gomez, are they sure of him at centre half? They were maybe going to do something. If they could bring him forward, they may. But if they can't, I think they may hold their powder. Pete wants them to. I think they might just decide to because the right player isn't there. And people will shout and scream from the rooftops, what do you mean? Go out and get the right player. Pay the fucking money for them. Doesn't work like that. It simply doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Matip is injured, but he's still being paid a hell of a lot of money every week. And Liverpool work on the amount of bodies that are there and being paid. That's how they work. Arge says, Klopp said we won't sign anyone unless another player gets injured at the back. That was basically his quote, Gav. And maybe that's where he's going to go with it. Maybe Jarell Quansah was a bonus at the start of the season, but has turned into a very, very, very reliable option. And he's gone, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go with it. The come back to haunt him at the end of the season where you go, we lost a couple of games because we were short at the back. But that's his job to do, not ours. We can sit and criticise it. That man makes the fucking decisions. And let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, he makes the right one, Trev.
Yeah, look, we were only talking a few minutes ago about Harvey Elliott and kind of not overplaying him, and like it's coming along nicely and there's no pressure on him. Should be the same for Quansah in a way. You know, every position on the pitch is important, but if you make a mistake at centre half, it's a bit like, you know, the only worst place is a goalkeeper. You're screwed. I'd just be worried in that sense that it might be a bit too much. Does it look like it's going to bother him? It hasn't up to now, but who knows if it gets hot and heavy and he has to be relied on. I'd just be a bit wary of that. So again, I'm actually on the fence for both. Like, I can see both sides, but how often do you get, apart from Van Dijk, get an L centre half at Christmas time and it works out well? But they're very few and far between. We just have to wait and see. As you say, in Klopp, we trust. He won't get it wrong. Never does.
Like it's for me. The way Klopp may look at it is, if he keeps 2 of these fit for the season constantly, and the other 2 walk off. Basically, if he keeps Van Dijk fit and maybe Kanate fit, they play. But he plays Quansah and Gomez when they're needed and at times. And like, I don't mean to piss on Joe Gomez. I thought he was brilliant the way he came on the other night. But I would have Quansah in before Gomez. Yeah. Because I think he's physically better than him. I think he's as quick as him, and I think he's cooler under pressure. He makes less mistakes. But against that, I don't want to get to the end of the season Jarell Quansah's made 50 appearances for Liverpool. Because I think it's too much of them. But then again, I could be sitting here amazed, done 50 fucking appearances, we won the league, and who gives a fuck? Do you know what I mean? But it's just track record and centre backs that make an awful lot of appearances. It can hurt them in the long run. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Pete, we're kind of are we all kind of in a roundabout way saying we don't think we'll do anything?
It's no, yeah, you know, he's more likely to strengthen up top, to be honest with you, because he's probably thinking we're struggling to break teams down. Sometimes I'd be thinking, if I was him, God, you know, Núñez misses an awful lot of chances in the bread and butter games, and maybe he's thinking, you know, with Jota not being fit, maybe he needs another option up top before he needs, a defender. You know, but bringing in a centre half. I mean, we've the best. I think we've the best defence in the league. Do we? Has anyone conceded less goals?
Yeah, I think we might be second in the league. Maybe we are the best defence in the league. I know Newcastle and City were around there, but Newcastle have been hopped off 7 goals in the last 2 games.
We're certainly there or thereabouts. I don't see the need. It's not like, you know, with a goalkeeper like him, listen, you don't want to over rely on him either. But you know, he breeds confidence in those in front of him. I'm more concerned about the chances that we miss. To be honest, we miss far too many chances. I'd be more concerned about getting that part of it.
Yeah, I think when you look up the top of the pitch, the fluidity has to come back for me. I think we're always at our best when it's like one pass, next pass, bang, someone's taking a shot or someone's, we're in behind someone, two passes and we're in behind and then we're away. Whereas I feel we're not slowing our game down. I just think we're looking for that extra angle or that extra pass. We're trying to overplay it and it doesn't suit us. It doesn't suit us. And the funny thing is we're getting a lot of goals now where it's just kind of, oh, you know what? We're not trying the extra pass. Just give it to him, and he's just launching it into the goal. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we've been brilliant in front of the goal this season, but I think I don't mind that because it can be fixed, and we know we've the players there to be fixed. My big worry is we weren't getting the chances, and we weren't on top of teams. I'd be kind of going, these are all over us, and we're doing nothing in the front. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I said it last night. If it's a technical thing, it can be worked on. I'd be up the walls if we were looking like we were bleeding goosed after 80 minutes every game, but we're not. Yeah. We're stronger and stronger than teams. So a technical thing I'm absolutely fine with, and I think just the way these fixtures have landed, they're 2 tough home games, 3 tough home games in the next 3, and people are writing off United, and United are going to come and sit down in front of bleeding the Kop end for 90 minutes. That's what they're going to do. And it's going to be a much harder game than people think. And it'll actually suit them that they'll go there like fucking, like timid dogs, because they're much better on the break than they are trying to play football. Once United open up and play football, you'll kill them because you'll overrun them. You don't track anyone.
The way to beat them is give them the ball.
Well, I wouldn't say the way to beat them is to give them the ball. I think the way to beat them is to be really intense and really like on them all the time. Like there's a real possibility we could be sitting here on 80 on Sunday and 0-0 or 1-0 down because they've absolutely just put Harry Maguire and someone else in the middle of the box, and they're making us go wide, they're making us cross, and he just wants to head it. Although he's not really good at that either. I think that's a myth from people as well. Or there's a possibility we would be sitting here on Sunday, 15 minutes of the game, and Liverpool are 3-0 up. Because Liverpool have just gone down, man, we are just going to run all over you, and you're not going to know where to look. But the game could go either way. But I just think it's landed well now where we can work on a few things. This Thursday off, I think, is really good. And it's not a Thursday off officially, but I think it's
the kids be out.
Yeah, but I think it'll work in our advantage. But look, there's people there saying, sorry, I don't want to get the name wrong. I think it was Andrew Den said, look, we don't want to be left short in we're joint best defence with Arsenal, 15 goals.
Yeah, just looking at that, 15 each, Gav, and then City are 18, Everton are 20.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
I think it was Andrew Den said we don't want to get left short in the title race. But that's up to the manager.
Yeah.
Like, the manager has admitted in the past where he's gone wrong. But again, we're going to get back to, listen, when that happens, Matt, they're probably looking going, right, who do we want at centre half? Is he available? And Klopp said it the other day. Who's going to sell a top centre back in January? They just don't. Because if he's a top centre back, he's probably playing in the Champions League. He's probably still in the fucking thing. And 6 months, wait for me for 6 months, I'll come and play for you. But I'm in the Champions League, and no offense, you're not. Do you know that sort of way? So it's a bit of a mad one. But look, it is something that's going to go on through January. I just want, look, forget the transfers. I mean, we only brought this up tonight because the Matip thing, and looking forward to it, and fair play to Trev for bringing it up, because it does give us a chance to look at it and just get opinion. But when it comes to January and we're doing a show or 2 shows a week, you're not going to get us where we're going to tell you we know everything that's going on. It's just not how we work. It simply isn't. Last thing before we run, the Anfield Road end, they done a test on it tonight. And fair play to Luke. Luke that's on this channel. He was there. He sent us a few videos. We popped them onto social media. Klopp being interviewed, the stand itself and stuff. But Trev, like, I don't think you can downplay this either. This is another big, massive stand at Anfield that's going to be predominantly filled by Liverpool fans. And before we know it, it won't be 54,000 in the ground, it'll be 61. It's another nice little bump, isn't it? It's
huge. And am I right in saying there's going to be potentially 7,000 extra seats for this Sunday?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Well, no. I think it's being opened on a phased basis. I want to say one part of it won't be open. It's a staggered opening to it.
Yeah.
So the ground, I think the whole overall thing brings an extra 7,000 seats.
Okay.
Right, to the stadium because the Anfield Road was obviously there before. I think there might be an extra 4,000 tickets this weekend, and then it'll gradually move up to that extra 7.
I'm still not able to get a ticket for me. Huh?
Yeah.
We'll keep working on it. No, look,
it's horrible this season trying to get tickets with this being closed, and it will be until difficult. It reopens fully.
Yeah, no, but look, you don't. Do we really? If you can't get up for the United game and where we are, but it'll be just amazing. It's going to be
57,000 at the game.
57. I just think what you were saying about the, what way will it go, and it could be 0-0 coming up to the end of the game. I'd say if we go for them early on, because they're not going to come out with us, simple as that. So we start quick, nobody's going to catch us. So I genuinely hope, I'm not saying we will, but I hope he just, we always had about Klopp and letting the shackles off against United, and it was always a thing that he never really done, but he started doing it in the last few years. He needs to do it on Sunday. Now, but in saying that, like what you're saying, Gav, I don't think this will be as easy as everyone's thinking it'll be. So a bit of balance to it, but Jesus, we have to go with them because they have zero confidence, and we have to just pounce on that.
Can I ask you a question, Trev? Do you think Bruno Fernandes got himself suspended deliberately? Because I do.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
I do. I think
yeah.
I think he's the biggest con job that guy is ever to put on any jersey of any respectable team. I think he deliberately went out and got himself done.
Look, the chance, like, you could easily put it to him, put that opinion forward that he done it on purpose, right? And look, this is the fella that gave up at Anfield last year, and
he
then
got
handed, got given the club captaincy. So that tells you where they are at the moment. But it's not even that. If he doesn't do it on purpose, right? Eric Ten Hag is going, yeah, what are you doing? And the thing is, he knows he's on 4 cards going into that game. Because we see it every week, don't we? Oh, this fella's on 4. If he gets booked there, he's going to miss that game. And, he'd be better off getting him on the next game because he won't miss this. We know how that works. And the manager of Manchester United, after handing him the club captaincy, after he literally walked around Anfield for half an hour. I know he did because I was standing there watching him doing it, right? And off camera, he was walking. It was a joke. Like, it was actually disgraceful the way he was carrying on. He was on the sideline at the main stand, throwing his arms around when the ball was over the other side of the pitch. It was horrendous. He hands him the club captaincy. And the first chance they had to go back to Anfield and kind of, show some fight and kind of make up for what happened there last season, this club captain, and I use that in inverted commas, this club captain on 4 bookings gets booked for dissent. 3-0 down and fucking home to Bournemouth.
But Gav, he knows, like you said, that he knows he's on 4 cards. I know every game in the Premiership is important, but he also knows it's Liverpool United in the next game. And as you say, all that combined just shows what of a brain dead person he is.
Like, if that game was 1-0 and it was a ding-dong game and he goes into attack with someone, catches them late, you go, he's had to get him booked. It's a mad game. They're trying to fight their way back into the game. But they're 3-0 down.
Gav, if he knows,
and he melts at the ref.
At 3-0 down, he knows. If he wanted to play against Liverpool, he'd stuck up his hand and held his tie and went, I need to come off.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's done there.
Or as a captain, he could turn around and go, listen, we're 3-0 down, there's 5 minutes to go. Take me off with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get booked here and I don't want to be, because I want to lead this team into Anfield next week.
But
I actually think it makes them better next week. I think it actually makes them stronger defensively.
Forces that hand. They have to.
I was going to say that, Gav. I was going to say the funny thing is it'll probably make them stronger, but also the mad thing about it, and we bring it back to the whole opinions on football and people just making things up. You'll have United fans. Hopefully Liverpool get the win, but you'll have United fans coming around now on Sunday evening saying, but if Bruno was playing, it would have been different.
Yeah,
it's mad.
Bruno was playing at Anfield last year.
Yeah.
Jack Santini says, and we'll finish up on this, he says, I've never been so confident about a match versus them lot, ever. The boys just need to be professional and get the job done. Don't care by how many. There's loads of that going around, right? And listen, all things being equal, Liverpool just go out and dispatch Manchester United at the weekend, right? But having said that, right, Liverpool haven't been the best of form themselves. They're racking up points, but they can see a 3 at home to Fulham, right? And the only thing that will do Liverpool this weekend against Manchester United is their attitude. If Liverpool go out there and score after 10 minutes and go, That's
That's
it.
it. Yeah.
They're in trouble. If Liverpool go out and score after 10 minutes, and after 20 minutes, they've spent 70% of the time, and United's half after, you go, we're on this. And they're getting it. It's only Liverpool's attitude that will do them on Sunday. I promise you that. And I swear to God, I'll be up the walls if Liverpool score and decide now that we're better than these and we'll just go through this game. And Nigel says it, never ever underestimate United, because they love nothing more, as poor as they are and as poor as they probably know they are, to come to Anfield, sit in, frustrate, and get a bleeding poxy goal on the break where we're pushing, and they get a goal on the break, and your man Hoyland gets a goal, or Garnacho, and all of a sudden United are back, and your man's fucking the best player in the world. And everyone would love that. So Liverpool are going in against not a football team. They're going in against, I think they're going in against a narrative. That's what I think they are. And I think they need to put their own narrative on this game where we're just way better than you. And it's not because we're technically better or we're better drilled. We want it more than you. And I promise you, if you want it more than Manchester United on Sunday, you will beat them, and you will beat them well. Because go back and watch the first 6 minutes against Bournemouth. Right? They're not chasing nobody. Lewis Cook, I think it is, intercepts a ball. Whoever the ball's going to just stops. Your man Amrabat just looks at him going by him. Shaw doesn't want to kick the ball and cross the box. And Solanke's the only man in the box with Harry Maguire, and Harry Maguire is miles away from him. Because why? Someone else will do it. Do I have to run there? Go and literally just go and walk.
Cripple him.
No.
That's your job.
Work hard.
Bang.
Work
the biggest man in the team.
Work hard.
Listen.
Work hard. Put the application in, and you will beat Manchester. I'm saying it all season. Outrun them and you beat them handy. Because what happens is they don't want to track. They don't want to get into a shape. They don't want to track. They don't want, especially men running off the ball. They just don't. They're not interested. They're not. It's like someone else will do it. You know
Move them around. Move them around. You saw us move them around for fun. And Fernandez's head was spinning. That's what happened to him. It was spinning from the move. At one stage, I can't remember who spun him. It might have been Jones. And you could see that he wanted to swing at him. And he threw his arms as if to walk off the pitch.
Bojcetic doesn't.
Spun him.
Yeah.
Spun him. And you could see he just wanted to kick the unflip and walk off the park.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they gave him the cap.
Yeah, and look, United game is like feels like it's miles down the road because tonight's Monday. It's 6 days away. We have to go to Belgium. United have
also,
to play
sorry,
Bayern.
Gav. I was just going to say they have to play Bayern tomorrow night. What will that be? No, I know Bayern have qualified and all that.
Well, the thing is with Bayern, I'd be more worried as a United fan that Bayern got beaten 5-1 at the weekend by Frankfurt, because Bayern do not allow themselves to lose 2 games in a row. And I'd say what's happened here is the equivalent of getting beaten 5-1 away and you're in training tomorrow. Basically, any of those pricks thought you weren't playing Tuesday night, you're all fucking playing now. And we put this to bed right fucking now, because Bayern Munich, regardless of being qualified or not, if they go 5-1 at home away to Frankfurt and get beaten by this Manchester United team on Tuesday, they've lost 2 away games that they shouldn't be fucking losing, and their fans don't stand for that. They simply don't stand for it. So I think that's actually gone against United. A lot of ways you think, Bayern are there to be got at. Bayern be going out there to absolutely put that 5-1 to bed as soon as they possibly can.
Manchester United, it's a big game for them. They hate Man United. They'll never forgive Man United for 99. And you'll never see a game as wrapped up as that game was. I've never seen that like it. You won't see Istanbul was more wrapped up. But, do you know what I mean? From their perspective, listen, there's no lying down from their perspective to Manchester United. None. They're going out there to...
Anyway, I won't be watching United tomorrow. I don't care what happens to them. They have to win and hope the other 2 teams draw, I think, for them to get through.
That's right, yeah.
Or they even get Europa League football or something like that. Whatever's going on. Look, the United game is a good bit away. The rest of the week on the channel, from memory, me and Keith are on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Should be the crack. Me and Chris are on tomorrow night at 8:45 on the members feed we're talking about the title, episode 4 of the title from 1920. There's Premier League chat at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. I think I'm on that as well. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, 10 a.m. Wednesday night is the tribute show, me and Phil Casey, where I asked Phil to pay tribute to 3 former Liverpool players. That's on the members feed as well. Thursday, we're putting the reaction to the European game at 10 o'clock, because there's no point in doing it at 8. People will be watching other stuff, right? So we're leaving at 10 o'clock. That'll be on Thursday night. Friday, me and Chris are back again with another version or another episode of the title on the Friday. Saturday, nothing. Sunday, 2 shows. Obviously, post-match reaction to United and the Sunday night show. And watch out. If you're watching and you're not a member, give the €4 a month if you can. We're having great crack in the morning at 10 o'clock. We're doing the title show, which is episode 4 of 6 we're going into. We're doing the tribute stuff. And Keith is looking at a new series coming out where it looks really good. That's all I'm going to say. It looks really good. So that'll be on the members feed. And as a member, you get all the shows. The likes of the title one, you get to watch it, you get to interact with it, and you get it for you get it a week before the people for download get it. But every show is available for download at some stage as well, so don't be worrying that way. It's €4 a month, it's €1 a week. It's working out at something like, I don't know, fucking 30 shows a month. I think it's coming in at now. So give it a go. It's a bit of crack. It helps us out. We're still trying to keep our 3 and 4 shows a week free, which is sound, and we're trying to put more and more into the member stuff to make that €4 even more worth it for you. Slow week in Gav's jobs with Chris. This is me job. It's not slow. I'm up to me eyes. But that is it for the Monday night. Join us tomorrow at 10 on the members feed, where me and Keith will talk for 10 minutes about football and 20 minutes about nonsense. And me and Keith are really good at the nonsense, so that should be good. P, thanks a million. Trev, thanks a million. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Thanks for your comments. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.